Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for our invocation. Assistant Pastor Ken Brown is here today from the Fountain Hills Presbyterian Church.
Glad to be able to pray with you. Would you join me in prayer? Father, I thank you for this beautiful town that we live in, the beautiful setting that we enjoy with the mountains all around and the beauty of this valley. We thank you for this great rain we've enjoyed. Well, not enjoyed, but we know we need. And we dodge raindrops throughout the day, but then we're reminded that we desperately need water in this desert. So we thank you for this wonderful rain, and we thank you for the privilege of just being a part of the activities of this town and for all the people who give so much time volunteering to do things in this town. I've become so aware of that in my efforts to be involved, and so I thank you for wonderful showing that people put out here when they make the effort to get involved. And I also pray for wisdom for town council tonight as they meet and deliberate. I pray that they will have the ability to see the right decisions to make at the right times, that they'll be able to discuss things reasonably with people who have come here tonight, and the exchanges would be kind and meaningful rather than mean and nasty. And so I thank you for the privilege of praying with these dear people tonight, and I thank you in his name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Ken. Okay, Happy New Year, everyone. We'll start off with economic development. Okay, Maricopa Association of Governments Economic Development Committee meeting centered on, I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot our roll call. Oh, jumped right in. Yeah, okay. Who's
Mayor
here?
Kavanaugh,
Here.
Vice Mayor Shea,
Here.
Councilmember Magazine,
Here.
Councilmember Yates,
Present.
Councilmember Hanson,
Here.
Councilmember Brown,
Here.
Councilmember DePorter is absent.
That's what I get for not checking off my schedule, huh? Just anxious to jump right in. Okay, now we'll go into economic development. Maricopa Association of Governments Economic Development Committee meeting centered on expanding business connections with Mexico, Canada, and now Toulouse, France. The EDC committee was approached several months ago by a representative of the Toulouse Metropole region about establishing a connection with the Phoenix metropolitan area. A video conference held in November with Vice Mayor Jean-Claude Dardelais, resulting in a goal of identifying potential industry sectors and areas for further engagement, including aerospace, aeronautics, healthcare, bioscience, pharmaceuticals, education, and high-tech industries. MAC is pleased to be able to expand Arizona's connection with yet another country for the benefit of Arizona's businesses and our schools. And that is that report for today. Next, we go on to recognition of retiring community service advisory commissions. Jeffrey Harper, Nancy Blumenstein, Danny Tancredi, and Donna Yordi. Grady, did you want to?
Yes, Mayor and Council, as you know, residents in our community contribute significantly to the operation of government by serving on these advisory boards. And we are fortunate to have people spend numerous hours attending these meetings that ultimately a number of the policies get to the council at this level that are then adopted by the council. These particular community service advisory board members have come to the end of their term and have done a great job in contributing to our community. And so with that, I believe we have one here tonight. So if you can come up to the podium, please.
This is Nancy. Nancy Blumenstein began serving on the Community Service Advisory Commission in August 2014. Nancy contributed her time and considerable talents to that commission. Nancy served on the Senior Services Advisory Commission for 2 terms. Her first term was February 2011 and December 2012, and her second term was January 2013 to December 2014. During Nancy's time on the Community Services Advisory Commission, she served on the Programs Work Group. Nancy contributed innovative thoughts to whatever issues the commissioners were addressing. Thank you, Nancy, for your concern for the wants and needs of Fountain Hills community. And now I have a certificate for you. If you just come up in front here, and Bob, Bob, let's go in the front. Bob will take a picture. Likes us, and this says, Nancy Blumenstein, for your outstanding service and support as the Town of Fountain Hills Community Services Advisory Commissioner for August 2014 to December 2015. Even though the other 2 commissioners aren't here, I just would like to read a little something about them. Donna Yorty, I know everybody knows Donna, began serving on the Community Services Advisory Commission in August 2014. Donna contributed her time and considerable talents to the Community Service Commission. She's also served on the Advisory Commission for 2 terms. Her first term was April 2011 to December 2012. Her second term, January 2013 to December 2014. During Donna's time on the Community Services Advisory Commission, she served on the Parks Facilities Work Group. Donna contributed innovative thoughts to whatever issues the commissioners were addressing. And we thank Donna for her concern for the wants and needs of Fountain Hills community. And I know Donna is still doing a lot of volunteer work with the Noon Kiwanis, so she's still going to be very active, as I know Nancy is also. Danny Tancredi. Danny's actually one of the first people I ever met when I moved to Fountain Hills. And he said to me, if you want to know what's going on in Fountain Hills, why don't you come to a town council meeting? And that was in the old building. And he was the first person who brought me to a meeting. So he's kind of a special guy. Danny Tancredi began serving on the Community Services Advisory Commission in August 2014. Danny contributed his time and considerable talents to the commission. He served on Parks and Recreation Commission for 2 terms, February 2011 to December 2012, and he served on the Parks Work Group. His second term was from January 2013 to December 2014, and he served on the Budget Work Group. So thanks, Danny, for all your work. And Danny actually used to work for the town and Parks and Recreation also. Thank you to all the commissioners for all the time that you put in. It's a lot of time that you give up, a lot of work, extra work, and we do appreciate it. So can we give them a nice round of applause? And Nancy, thank you for joining us today. Now we have another recognition of the town's 14th consecutive Government Finance Officers Association Distinguished Budget Presentation Award, presented to the Town of Fountain Hills for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2015, as well as a certificate of recognition for the budget presentation to our Finance Director, Craig Rodolfi.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, I'm pleased. This is a kind of a good news. We don't get too many of these types of awards, except for in this area. We've been very fortunate to have received 14 years, consecutive years, this particular award, but it's really a great honor to have to be able to be recognized in this area. The Government Finance Officers Association established the Distinguished Budget Presentation Awards program in 1984 to encourage and assist state and local governments to prepare budget documents of the highest quality that reflect both the guidelines established by the National Advisory Council on State and Local Budgeting and also the GFOA's best practices on budgeting. The award recognizes individual governments that succeed in achieving that goal. As I mentioned, this is the 14th consecutive Distinguished Budget Presentation Award received by the town of Fountain Hills. Again, this is no small feat, as the budget documents submitted to the Budget Awards program are reviewed by selected members of the GFOA professional staff and by outside reviewers with expertise in public sector budgeting. The resulting award was a team effort that involved numerous hours and hard work by Finance Director Craig Rudolphi and Accountant Beata Bogdan in preparing and finalizing the fiscal year 2016 annual budget. Craig also received a certificate of recognition for his role and expertise in achieving the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. Please join me in congratulating Craig and Beata on a job well done.
Making you come up, Craig. Making you come up.
Thank you, and I would like to, I will accept this on behalf of all of the town staff whose work would not have made the award possible, and I'd also like to acknowledge the town's accountant, Beata Bogdan, for her help in preparing this, because it wouldn't have happened without her.
Congratulations.
We'll go on to call to the public. Do we have any speaker cards?
No, Mayor, no cards.
All right, then our consent agenda. We have 4 items on the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to accept them as written?
Mayor, so moved.
In a second. And I need a roll call.
Councilmember Magazine?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Leger?
Aye.
Councilmember Hanson?
Aye.
Councilmember Yates?
Aye.
Councilmember Brown? And Mayor Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Mayor, 6-0.
Thank you. Okay, our regular agenda item. First, consideration of a liquor license application submitted by Christine Hope Zimmerman, owner agent of Jason LLC, doing business as Monroe's Barn Grill, located at 13014 North Saguaro Boulevard, number 101, Fountain Hills, Arizona. This is for a Series 12 licensed restaurant. Grady?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. Before you is a request for a liquor license application for Monroe's Bar and Grill. As you're aware, the typical process that we go through is we hold a meeting and the council formulates a recommendation that then goes to the State Liquor License Board, and then they take that into consideration before rendering a decision on issuing a liquor license. So before you, I believe the applicants are here tonight. And I think what we might want to do is, if the council has reviewed the packet, if there's any questions, we do have staff here tonight to be able to respond to those questions.
Right. Can Captain Letourneau here? I think I have a few questions for you. Maybe council does too.
Good evening, Mayor and council members.
Did you have anything first that you wanted to say before our questions?
I would probably rather open it up to questions
Okay.
that any of you would have.
Okay. Councilman Leger?
Yes, Captain, I notice in the, going through the application that law enforcement, with your signature, approved, and there was an asterisk there, it said approved with concerns. So I didn't see anything in the packet. Could you address your concerns, please?
The concerns are continued from the first application that went through. I don't know if you recall that. There were no questions at the time, but the packets originally were. But from the get-go, with the current application process that went through, we didn't have any concerns with it. The new owners are listed. The new LLC is listed, Jazz on. So we're okay with the new application. We just weren't sure with the process in the past if we can just turn a blind eye to the issues that were brought up before, the first two applications that were posed to the board in the town. That makes sense?
Could you tell us some of those? Could you be a little more specific so we understand what they were?
The first two applications, the first application itself was not filled out correctly. There were issues that we asked the owners about, as simple as past arrests. We found the box checked no past arrests, but in a background check, we found that there were arrests. There were issues of ownership and liquor law violations at our meeting. I can go into greater depth. I just don't know how deep you want to go with that. There were concerns with the first application, which the owner withdrew, reapplied a second time. We had issues with that application. It was allowed to withdraw again, and now the new application before you is better. The owners they check out, they're good owners, they're listed as owners. However, one of the owners is still the original owner that applied and filled out the original application, and we had some issues with that. So the asterisk on this current application is we just have concerns we wanted the council to know about, which I could answer questions further if you have more questions on that.
Councilman Magazine?
How many excuse me, how many owners are there?
On the current application, there's 4.
And one of them is one of the previous owners?
Correct.
I'm not sure I'm using the right terminology. There's a conditional approval, is that correct? What are the options?
The options are approve it or deny it. That's it.
I misunderstood. I thought there was a conditional approval.
We just made note on the application as it sits before you that we had concerns. We are approving the new application. We just had concerns about the process in the past.
Thank you.
Questions on this side? On some of the original issues dealt with distributors, employees. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Liquor violations, several liquor violations. We conduct our own interviews and looking into it, but we also are privy to some things that the liquor board deals with, and we know that there were liquor violations during the process. They had a temporary license, and there were liquor violations on those visits by us and the liquor board. Liquor violations, alcohol violations could be somebody that's working there on site and is drinking at the time when they're supposed to be working. That's a liquor violation. That's an alcohol violation. Tickets can be written. You can be arrested for that. Those type of things happened in the past.
Okay. And do we know who, are any of those listed on the liquor license, are they going to be actually managing the restaurant? Who's the manager?
On the current application, Christine Zimmerman, who is the listed main owner, will be working and managing the business under the current
Full-time?
application.
Full-time, every day that the restaurant's
I
open?
believe it's open 5 days a week, and I remember her telling me I think she'll be there 4 days of the week.
Okay. Okay, and there was someone else listed that was a less than 10% owner. Who was that?
The less than 10% owner is the original application, Eric Zimmerman. He's one of the owners. He's Christine Zimmerman's father. He's also listed as the chef for the restaurant.
Okay, and this is the same application that we denied previously, is it?
The same restaurant,
Right,
different owners.
different owners, but two are the same.
Originally, it was Eric Zimmerman and his wife, Penny Zimmerman.
Okay,
Penny Zimmerman is no longer listed. Christine Zimmerman is, and then the other two is Paul Norton and Jackie Gamble.
okay. I guess the only thing I'm confused about is I know this application had gone to the liquor board, the second application, and any reason that you would know of why they just didn't let that go through, why they stopped that application and redid a whole nother one?
We spoke to them and we told them of our concerns on the second application, which some of those were calls for service, meaning people approached us, the sheriff's office, either by calling us or to our walk-up window down the hall, where employees working at the restaurant weren't being paid. There were issues and calls for service to the applicant's house that just, it kind of set off bells and whistles for us, and we voiced those concerns with Mr. Zimmerman, and the decision was for them to withdraw the application and reapply, which they did.
And do we know that all of these things are not going on any longer with the distributors? Have they been spoken to that there's no issue, or what
The
about?
distributors is part of those liquor violations that could occur where there are only 6 distributors in the state of Arizona that you can purchase alcohol from.
Okay.
That didn't happen in the past. We made them aware of that. So those issues were brought up and discussed, and that's where the decision came by the Zimmermans to withdraw the application and reapply at a later date, which they did.
Okay. Any questions on this side? Councilman Brown?
I'd like to direct this to the town attorney. Andrew, if the violations bring their heads up and start happening again, what are the ramifications? What does it take to cancel the liquor license?
Madam Mayor, Councilmember Brown, I was going to say Vice Mayor Brown, but didn't want to go down that road.
They didn't ask me.
The town council's role in this kind of license is advisory. You are required by state law to give a yes or no, thumbs up, thumbs down to any application that comes through. If there is a revocation proceeding, you also are involved in that. But for the most part, the liquor board is who is going to control whether the license stays in place or not. The town can ask for revocation at a later date. We were going through a number of different things with the last application. So if there are continued violations, the Sheriff's Department's well aware of them. They'll bring them to our attention, bring them to the liquor board's attention, and we'll go down the path then.
Good information, thank you.
Andrew, how much weight does the liquor board put on what we say, what we do here?
Madam Mayor, members of the council, I don't want to speculate on how much weight they put on it, but I can tell you in past experience that the liquor board will not give great weight to a no from a council unless it's supported with substantial evidence. And if there is a recommendation for denial from a town council, they will expect you to appear, and you have to appear through council, so someone from my office will go and appear and provide the reasons for that denial. In a recent case for another municipality, the denial recommendation was a message being sent by the council to the developer for other reasons, and the liquor board did not appreciate that when we explained it to them at the hearing.
Councilman Magazine.
Well, I have a question for the applicant.
Yes, we will bring the applicant up. Is there any more questions for the captain?
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Yates.
With regard to the nature of the violations before, were there underage servers?
Yes.
servers that were underage serving alcohol?
That is one of the allegations from a former employee that walked to our office.
Were there underage drinking? Someone served to someone underage?
I don't recall anything like that. No underage drink.
And then with regard to taxation of, as you know, the state of Arizona regulates the sale of alcohol and it's supposed to be tagged. Was that one of the violations, that there were untagged bottles of alcohol being sold?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions for the captain? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Hanging around in case we need some more information, and the applicant is here? Okay.
Mayor, we have two of the applicants, Jackie Gamble and Christine Zimmerman.
Okay. Did you want to make a statement first, and then we would ask some questions?
Yes, my name is Jackie Gambill. Christine Zimmerman, thank you for allowing us to come up and speak with you. My husband and I have lived in Fountain Hills since 1989. I have owned a company in Fountain Hills for 19 years. And in saying that, I would make a good advertisement for a small town because of the council and the Chamber of Commerce and town support. 19 years later, we're still here and we are successful. With Monroe's, we were approached because there were some problems and they were looking for new applicants to come in. My husband is a retired executive posse with the deputy sheriff's office. We're getting old. It was time to step down. But with the new ownership, I feel extremely comfortable that this restaurant can be successful. There have been 3 or 4 restaurants in that very location, and they've all failed. Personally, I just don't like that word fail. After 19 years, I like the word successful, and I think the town needs that. The location is beautiful, and we came in and made some major renovations on New Year's Eve. We had advertised for 100 reservations, and it was a full house. It's a beautiful location, and I think that if you give us, as new owners who have good records, a chance, you'll be impressed. Thank you.
Thank you. Christine, did you want to make a statement?
I'm just here to answer any questions.
Okay. The only question I do have for you is that the captain stated that you were going to be the full-time manager, so that means you don't have another job. You're going to be there all the time that it's open?
I do have another job. I just currently work the days that we're closed.
Okay, so all the days that it's open, you're going to be there managing?
Yes.
Okay. Questions?
Yes, Mayor.
Questions? Any questions? Oh, Councilman Magazine.
You were one of the original owners, correct? And you're still an owner?
No.
No, I was never on the previous liquor license.
Okay. Who are the previous owners who are still one of the 4 owners?
My father, Eric Zimmerman.
Okay. Other than that relationship, do you have any other legal relationship with any of the other past owners?
No. And my father is just on the liquor license because he is 9% owner, but he's just the chef.
I'll tell you quite frankly, I don't think I can support this. The previous owners were untruthful on a number of counts, raised a lot of questions. It's impossible for us to keep a close eye on an establishment like this. I'm just very concerned, given the background and the fact that there still is one of the original owners involved, which I would question if you really want to put your best foot forward going forward. I don't know why you would have one of the previous owners as an owner who was party to some of the untruths and so on, some of the things that went on. That troubles me. So I'm really not inclined to approve this.
Well, Mr. Magazine, if I may address that, having run a company, still running a company, he is a 9% owner. His job is a chef. You have 3 new owners with pristine records. Are you going to judge us because of past?
Yes.
I wouldn't.
I'm not judging you. I'm judging.
But I am me, and I am there.
Excuse me. I'm not judging you. I'm judging the reputation and the things that happened before with the untruthfulness, and you still have one of the previous owners who was part of that as an owner. I don't care if it's 9% or 99%. He's still part of it. And I find myself wondering whether or not, who were all the previous owners?
Just Penny and Eric Zimmerman.
Okay. And you're telling me that Penny Zimmerman will have absolutely nothing to do with the establishment?
That is correct. She has no ownership in it.
I'm asking about ownership.
And there were no faults, I don't think, against Eric.
My mom will have no say or ownership in this business whatsoever.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Something you want to talk?
Sure. I
Vice
was
Mayor Leger.
Smiling at you, and yes, I'd like to talk. Oh, hi. I had a question for y'all. Ma'am?
You just wanted me to get my exercise for the day.
It is a new year, right?
That's right.
Is that one of your resolutions?
One,
Following up on the questions that Councilman Magazine had, he asked about the role of the 9% owners, so let me look at it from a different perspective. There are 3 new owners, including yourself and your husband?
no, I'm the owner,
Okay.
part owner. My husband is not.
Okay, so could you mentioned 3 other owners, right?
Yes, Paul Norton is an owner.
Okay,
I am an owner.
okay,
Christine is an owner.
okay,
And then Eric Zimmerman
okay.
is the only original owner, although my husband is here tonight and he definitely is part of it, but just not
Okay.
in writing.
Well, thank you for that clarification. So my question, kind of the opposite side of Councilman Magazine's, is he's concerned about the 9% ownership and the role in the company or running of the restaurant. So my question is, I'll direct it towards you. What role will the new owners play in the company?
We are there, especially Paul Norton is, 4 or 5 days a week? He is there. I'm not there as much, but I am there as much as I can. I have a real job, too, another real job. But like for New Year's Eve, I work the whole time.
I'm just trying to get a sense for what part of running the business the new ownership would have. That's kind of where I'm trying to get my arms wrapped around. If you're asking us to wipe the slate clean with respect to the previous history, I need to have a sense of what's changed and what the role of the new ownership will be to kind of help balance that off for myself.
Because you do have Paul Norton and myself, and again, 19 years, a pristine record here in Fountain Hills. I am Miss Goody Two-Shoes. They're not going to break the rules and it go by me. That's not going to happen. I get to walk through one time, and that's not what I'm about.
Thank you.
Was that?
Can I add to that?
Sure.
So there was a previous issue, or what he stated about employees not getting paid, and with Jackie taking on, she'll be doing the bookkeeping and everything as well.
And that's kind of what I was getting at you in terms of, I was just trying to understand roles. So that helps me. So you'll be playing an active role in the bookkeeping.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Norton will be playing an active role in managing the restaurant?
On site, yes. So when I met with Mr. Allen with the Liquor License Board and with the Deputy Sheriff, I told him that all the employees were paid current. Sometimes I own a solar company, so I have construction workers, and they can, if they are dismissed and they want to go complain, there's nothing we can do about it. But I can tell you, they weren't on QuickBooks. They weren't set up professionally. We did go to an attorney. We did have all the proper, it cost quite a bit of money to have proper paperwork done up. We went to the bank. I am the only signer on the bank account. They are set up on QuickBooks, and it will be run as a proper business.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here and answering my questions. And Mayor, I just have one other question I want to direct to our town attorney, if he can answer that. I find this really interesting in terms of latitude. What is our latitude? We don't get involved in employee relations. We don't get involved in whether a company pays their employees or not. We're interested primarily in, what's on the application, and from what I see, everyone's approved the application, including law enforcement. So do we have a latitude to be engaging in discriminating against someone because of the employee relations issues and so forth and so on? The past history stuff seems to be more subjective to me in terms of making a decision based on the criteria for the application. I don't certainly condone what's happened in the past, but I'm looking at my latitude in terms of our latitude.
And I don't know anything that we could do more professional than we are doing right now.
Well, I'm not questioning that.
Madam Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, the question is a good one because councils struggle with liquor licenses on a regular basis. But your latitude is really, it's a fitness question. Do you believe the applicant is appropriate for serving alcohol in the town? Yet, if you have reasons that you think not, then those reasons go before the liquor board and they weigh them appropriately. The liquor board has all the discretion. The council has an opinion is about what it amounts to. And I can tell you in 21 years of representing cities and towns, I've seen a denial once when the council had asked for it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. I have a question for the captain. Thank you. Is there, Eric Zimmerman is the less than 10%?
Correct.
Is there a reason why it's a 9%? It's just kind of a funny number.
I'm sure there is a reason. At 9%, you don't have to disclose as much in the application as the higher percentage owners do. You have to disclose less information.
So what exactly does that mean? I'm sorry. Does that mean there's no check on the background check or anything like that, or doesn't go that far?
We did do background checks on the original application because there was only 2 listed owners. Mm-hmm. There were issues on that check that concerned us, and that was part of the reason during our interview we discussed those with Mr. Zimmerman, and that was why we originally didn't, from the sheriff's office to the town, decided to deny the application.
Yeah, okay. I just would have felt more comfortable if Mr. Zimmerman wasn't even on this application, since he seemed to be the one in the beginning that caused us to deny it, but yet now he's still a part of the application and obviously still a big part of the functioning of the restaurant. Am I correct in saying that? That's correct? Okay. Councilman Magazine.
Captain, if we look at the violations of the past, serving underage and so on, and lying about a police record and things like that, and other things that went on in the establishment.
There was never an underage.
Please,
Ma'am?
please.
Can you give us any assurance as to how we monitor the operation?
Councilmember Magazine, I think Vice Mayor Leger said it the best you could, is it's difficult to constantly monitor an establishment like that. We can randomly do checks like we do with other establishments, and the liquor board can do random checks, which they've done in the past too. But I'll use a term, you can't babysit it. We're too busy, they're too busy. We would and can do random checks in the future. We've did random checks during the process. Those were some of the concerns that the reason the original ones were denied. If you just look at this application as we should, as a new one, that's why we recommended approval with concerns, and I think Andrew touched on it. No matter what the council does or how they vote, it will come down to the liquor board's decision.
Yeah, let me just follow up, not necessarily with you, Captain, but I have to say I'm very much on the fence. The applicant is very earnest, but I am concerned that one of the owners, and whether it's 9%, as I said, or 99%, to me makes no difference. He's an owner, and he was part and parcel of the problems. And so I have to decide in my own mind whether or not it's worth taking the risk, but thank you.
Councilman Yates.
Thanks, Mayor. And Captain and Andrew chime in here. It's really not our job to watch them per se, other than react to any kind of violation or any kind of complaint. And the Arizona Liquor Board is a fairly active group. I mean, they regulate this fairly actively. I mean, if there's any report, aren't they by statute required to do an investigation? I.e. serving underage, i.e. serving liquor without the tax stamp. So it's not the onus of this entity to make sure they're following the liquor laws. There's an entity set up to do that.
Madam Mayor, Councilmember Yates, it's usually a combination between the law enforcement agency that's on the ground at wherever it's located and the liquor board investigators.
Councilman Yates, your description is accurate. However, what I would say, they would investigate calls for service like most law enforcement agencies and other government entities right now. Manpower shortages dictate that. They have been very good coming up in 2015 to address those issues as they've gotten calls for service, but they ask us for help because they've got one guy dedicated to the town of Fountain Hills with all the liquor establishments in Fountain Hills. However, he can bring help, but one guy dedicated to this area.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, anything else? Councilwoman Hanson.
It sounds, what I'm hearing tonight is the new owners have made a significant good faith effort to clean up a not so good situation. I'm having difficulty in penalizing them through our recommendation because of the effort they have made. And because of the amount of investment they have put into it, it behooves them to do their best and be as diligent as possible to make sure that those things don't reoccur. And since it is ultimately up to the liquor department, this is only a recommendation. And could we, as you did, recommend approval with concern? Andrew, what if we did the same to the liquor board?
Madam Mayor, Councilmember Hanson, it would be duly noted.
They put a lot of weight in that, right? Anything else, Councilwoman Hanson? All right, is anyone else? Councilman Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. I, too, am looking at it like Councilman Lady Hanson is looking at it. I don't know that we can make the judgment on the past owners entirely. I think that it's a business in town that's trying to survive, and if there are going to be problems, they will crop up regardless. I mean, if alcohol is involved, more than likely it'll be sooner than later. And I clearly understand the concerns from my councilman about the past, but I feel like I personally feel that we should give them a clean shot, a clean opportunity, and see how it shakes out.
Councilman Brown, maybe I can add this, maybe it helps the decision. So part of the process that we go through for the towns, for the recommendation, is an interview. We did interview all the new owners. Part of that interview was to make sure, we wanted to make sure the new owners knew the past, knew the issues, and wanted to know what they would do if it happened in the future, how they would deal with it. The answers were good. We also wanted to make sure that they knew if, let's say, an alcohol violation occurred, a ticket needed to be written, they could get the tickets as the new owners. They understand that. They accept that responsibility. And so I think you're right. I think the recommendation with concerns, when I filled that out, I wanted these questions so that you could come back here and make a good decision. The new owners are aware of that they now fall under the liability if there's problems at the establishment. None of them shied away from it. And we went over everything. I didn't hit on stuff in here because I don't think it's the right venue for it. I think your recommendation should be, I'll answer questions, but I didn't get into great specifics. With them, I got into specifics. And they understand what could happen. Large fines, tickets. I mean, alcohol violations, you can go to jail for them. Not to threaten them with that, but just to make sure they know the repercussions for when mistakes are made. And especially Jackie Gamble and Paul Norton, we made it very clear as we could that this is what could happen if this continues in the future. And they all, and including Christine, they all said they understand. So I don't know if that helps you or not with your decision.
Are we
Thank
waiting for a motion? there?
Councilman Magazine has not.
Am I correct that they would have to come before us annually for renewal?
I'd have to defer that to Andrew. I don't believe so.
No.
It's, Madam Mayor, Councilmember Magazine, the only time that you will see a liquor license come to you from an establishment is if it is a transfer, it is a new application, or it has some reason that the liquor board is looking to revoke an application. Otherwise, you won't see it.
Well, I indicated first that I wasn't inclined, and then I said I was on the fence, and I'll tell you what tipped me. I have a lot of confidence in the captain. And if he thinks it should be approved, and if he went through that kind of due diligence, who am I to say it can't be done? So I'll support it.
Councilman Brown?
I'd like to make a motion to approve, move to recommend approval of the liquor license application submitted by Christine Hope Zimmerman, owner of Jazz On LLC, DBA Monroe Bar and Grill, located at 13014 North Saguaro Boulevard, number 101, Fountain Hills.
Second.
All right, any other discussion? Were there any other speaker cards on this issue? No. Okay, then, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mayor, 6-0.
I want to thank the applicants for coming. We appreciate you answering all the questions. We hope that you are successful. We wish you good luck here in Fountain Hills, and we'll stop by and have dinner. Okay? Thank you. All right. Thanks, everyone. That was a really good discussion. Thank you, Captain. Appreciate all your hard work on that. And now, we got the Art Committee here. Consideration of accepting a sculpture of President Franklin Roosevelt titled Strength to Our People for placement in Fountain Park. Grady?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, the two items before you have to do with recommendations from the Public Art Committee. The first one is a sculpture, as the Mayor indicated, of President Franklin Roosevelt, titled Strength to Our People. And then the next item is 3 donated sculptures titled Sky Totem, Ascendo, and Interactive Sunglasses. Our Community Services Director, Mark Mayer, will give a brief presentation on these items.
Mayor Kavanaugh, members of the council. As was indicated, this is a bronze sculpture of President Franklin Roosevelt titled Strength to Our People. It is being requested that the item be placed in Fountain Park next to the pieces that are already there. It was done by Utah artist Matt Glenn. It is, as I mentioned, a bronze sculpture, and the piece is valued at, or was purchased at a price of $44,900. I also included a site map that would give you some indication of where the site is proposed to be placed. Staff is supporting the recommendation. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions. Obviously, most of the Public Art Committee is here and also in a position to answer any questions you might have.
Just about the financing for it?
Yes, that's an important point. This is going to be a public effort of fundraising, and they've been, as you know, very, very successful in doing that. So I don't know if they've started the process already. Knowing Mr. Miles, I'm sure they probably have. The point is to try to raise the money, and again, because it is a public donation, the cost of the sculpture and the base would be included in that fundraising effort under the Public Art Master Plan, 1%.
Any questions for Mark on this one piece before I go to our speaker card?
Mayor, yes, I had a question.
Yes, go right ahead.
Thank you. What question am I going to ask you, Mark? Can you, any hint of anything to do with plaques?
There was nothing indicated to me when I spoke with them that there would be a plaque, so I would defer to the Public Art Committee. Okay. I guess the real question is, will there be quotes on the plaque?
That was, yeah,
Okay.
I knew,
Real question is who selects them.
I knew you were intuitive, Mark. That was my real question.
Sandy, you want to come up? Sandy, why don't you come up?
Okay.
Sandy Thompson, President of the Art Committee.
Council, Mayor Kavanaugh. I think there was talk about a plaque, a quote plaque. Committee member Marty Brown is heading this up, and I believe he did comment on that. But believe me, before any plaque goes up, you guys will see it and approve it.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you. Any other questions for Mark or Sandy? Okay, we do have a speaker card.
We have one speaker, Jenny Dickey, who wants to speak, and we have 2 cards that were submitted that are in support, but they did not want to speak.
Yay, thank you, Mayor, Council. I wanted to thank you for considering accepting this and the placement of the FDR sculpture. Speaking of plaques, I ask that when you select the quotes for the plaque, and you guys are listening to, I would just ask that you might include this one, which is the famous one, of course. Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance. In every dark hour of our national life, a leadership of frankness and vigor has met with the understanding and support of the people themselves, which is essential to victory. I'm convinced that you will again give that support to leadership in these critical days. This is particularly appropriate, I think, at this time, and it's an encouraging quote, and it illustrates his leadership and bravery. Speaking of leadership, I'd like to say we do appreciate the efforts of Marty Brown and all the people who've contributed so far. And no surprise, I have the forms here if anybody else would like to contribute. I just want to mention personally that growing up right outside of Hyde Park, that this would be a very meaningful addition, and I ask for your support. Thanks.
All right, thank you. No other speaker cards? Okay. Are we taking these one at a time? Yes.
Yes.
All right. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'd like to speak to it.
You want to? Okay. You have another comment?
Yes. My friend Jerry Miles has been asked many times why there were only Republican presidents in the collection. And his response was always, as soon as the Democrats come up with the money, we'll put in a Democratic president. Well, I don't want to ruin Jerry's reputation, but I understand from the grapevine that he's made a significant contribution to a Democrat. And I also want to let you know, because my wife is intimately involved in this, that they've raised a lot of money already. It will not be a problem.
Anything else? Okay. How about, you want to make a motion? Councilman Magazine, would you like to make the motion?
I'd love to. I move approval.
Okay.
Mayor, second.
All right. Any other discussion?
My mom's a Democrat.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mayor, 6-0.
All right, we'll go on to the next one.
There are three pieces, again, for your consideration here this evening. We have, first of all, the titled Sky Totem, which is a picture in front of you there. The second piece is titled Ascendo, and it's a stainless steel piece. And the third and final piece for your consideration is obviously a stainless steel piece. The first item is valued at $40,000. The second item had an acquisition price of $19,200. And then the final piece, the interactive sunglasses, has an acquisition and insured value of $18,500. These would be proposed to be placed in the plaza, and I have listed locations there. This would fill all but one spot of art nodes that we have available on the plaza. So again, with that, I would be glad to answer any questions. I am also indicating to you that the staff is recommending acceptance and placement as suggested.
And financing for these?
Financing of these would come through purchased by Bart Shea of Shea Conley and Development Incorporated as part of the 1% art requirements for development.
And this is Brian Shader, he's local, isn't he? Is he local? He's local. He did The Doors, is that right? Which is the other one he did? Didn't he do, has another one in town? The windows. I said doors.
Waves and windows.
The windows.
Waves and windows, yeah.
Didn't he do the windows? No, okay, never mind. Yeah, no, never mind. I just, we have established that Brian is local.
Yes.
Right, I thought we had another piece by him, but maybe not. That's what I said. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, yes, so Brian is local and he did the windows. Yeah, because I remember he had to fix them when they were damaged.
Analyzed, yeah.
Right, okay.
Mayor?
So,
If I may.
yes,
Don
Councilman Brown.
Kenworthy is also a local artist, and he is the third piece. He actually did Big Blue.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got two locals here. Great. Oh, that's excellent. All right, so we take them one at a time?
You actually can, if
Can we do
you
them
so
all at
choose,
once?
can do them all in one motion.
Okay, who wants to do them all? Councilman Brown, did you want to take them all?
I move to approve the art donations and the locations of the three pieces as presented.
All right. Any other discussion? Any speaker cards? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mayor, 6-0.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Art Committee. Let's see. All right, we went through all of them. So we're up to number 8, consideration of resolution 2016-01, establishing the Sister Cities Advisory Commission and adopting bylaws for its governance. Grady?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, I would like to request at this time to table this item for a later date. Thank you.
All right.
Move to table.
Second.
All in favor of tabling? Any opposed? Okay, tabled. Now we go on to our discussion with possible direction to staff related to any item in the legislative bulletin. And I have sent to everybody 2026. Grady, did you want to start on that one?
Yes, council members may recall last year we were tracking and following a bill that was filed by Representative Darren Mitchell. It had to do with residential rental tax. And statewide, residential rental tax generates about $83 to $84 million a year. Our take of that is about $165,000. If a bill like this were to go through and be adopted and signed into law. I know that the mayor would like to kind of speak to this item. She was very passionate about this last year, and she has some insight as to this bill.
Yes, I was really passionate against this one, and I guess Representative Mitchell feels that he can come in the back door now and just get Fountain Hills a little bit later. And his move to just say with population, this is now only going to pertain to populations of 100,000 or more. I really believe that this is an attempt to, first of all, get his foot in the door to do away with this rental tax, but also to divide the cities and towns. Now, we were united last time, all of us. The League led us in the fight against this. But what he's trying to do now is divide us. They tried the same thing with the TPT. They tried to get the larger cities that were going to benefit to go against the smaller cities, but they didn't. They hung in with us knowing that this would be really detrimental to us. So I'm hoping that we will get behind this and know that we're helping them just as they assisted us with the TPT, and we may need their help again in the future since it looks like some of that might be coming back. But strongly, I feel that once if he gets this passed, and right now he has no other signers on this, he's the only sponsor, that then he will go after the smaller cities. So I really would like us to oppose this, and I would actively work to oppose it if everybody is in favor of that. Any comments on the bill?
Need a motion?
No, just anybody has any comments or objection or any reason why they think this is a good idea?
I certainly support, whatever initiative we can put forward to push back on this bill.
Okay, good. We'll probably fight through the League, and I talked to Grady about we'll probably spend some time down there
Right.
Doing public testimony if it gets to that point.
So noted, and Mayor, if I may, also I just wanted to remind the council that procedurally, as we start getting into the legislative session, you'll be all receiving the legislative bulletins.
Okay.
So if you see any particular bill that is of interest to you or you feel that would be harmful to us, please let staff know, please let me know, and what we'll do is we'll research it and we'll have it researched and ready to discuss at the next council meeting. Thank you.
Okay, anything else on that? Okay.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
Just a comment. In that regard, I've come across House Bill 2024, and it's my understanding there's possibly sponsorship there. The only thing I know about it is an abstract that I've written, so I really can't speak to it. So to your comment, if we could
You bet.
if we could track that bill, it's another bill about it's with respect to guns, but it's extremely complex and it's pretty esoteric at this point in time. So I want to learn more about that in terms of how it applies to municipalities and local control in that regard. Thank you.
Councilman Magazine.
That sort of reminds me, do we know if there's any intent to try the bill again that was in the last session that would have cost us enormous amounts of money for metal detectors and other kinds of things? I can't remember the details of it. Any knowledge?
Andrew, do you remember that one's been resurrected yet?
I don't think
I
so.
haven't seen it in the early bills yet. The only one that's a bit of a resurrection from last year, besides Senator Mitchell's bill, that is, the back door to get rid of rental tax, is this sovereign immunity bill. And it's actually bigger than guns. I was looking at it briefly while we've been talking, and it really is a statement of the state's prohibition against municipalities doing anything with presidential executive orders, United States agency policies, or Supreme Court opinions unless Congress has adopted it into law. So it's a pretty broad brush at the subject. we'll be happy to track that.
Okay, and if we can get some information on that,
Will do.
Grady for next time, and if anybody else has anything, let us know in advance, because, you know, you say Bill 2024 or 2026, most of them, we don't know what they are or the implications, and we can look into it, okay? And the last thing is activities. Anybody, anything you want to say? I know we've all been busy with the holidays. I just have one thing. And I was kind of debating whether this actually belonged in economic development, because it's a big part of it. We had a quarterly East Valley Mayor's Lunch. We just had that today. We discussed several issues related to our area, including the proposed legislative bills. We do discuss those, and it's great because usually we're all supportive of each other. Attending the lunch, though, was President Delbert Ray of the Soul River Pima Maricopa Indian Community. He gave us an update on the Tono Glendale Casino and issues related to it. Our biggest concern right now is the proliferation of the casinos in the unincorporated parts of our state now that the Glendale Casino has been allowed to operate. This is important to all of us when we decide what we want our state to look like. We want it to look like a small Las Vegas, or do we like the way it looks now? And that's one reason why we have supported not only Salt River, but our own Fort McDowell tribe and Gila River, who have all been opposed to this. And one of the questions that I did ask of the gentleman that was with them, who is their expert in this area, was, do we know of any other land that the Tonos have bought under other companies, other LLCs, shell companies? And they're trying to track that, but honestly, they have no idea. So they could actually come back and put a casino somewhere else in another unincorporated area. And as I understand, there's Senator McCain and Senator Flake are helping the tribes, and also my mind is blank. Franks.
Oh, Trent.
Trent Franks, yes, is also helping. And that's all I have. So we'll keep a watch on that and keep working on it. Anything else? Okay, we just need a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Did we say Happy New Year to everyone?
I did.